is your number one internet radio station.
Smile.
Here's my story, it's sad but true.
It's about a girl that I once knew. She took my love and ran around with every single guy in town. Hey, hey, oh, oh, whoa, whoa, nah, 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 hey, hey, I'm head, hey, hey, I'm head, hey, hey, I'm head, hey. Oh, yeah, I should have known it from the very start, hey, hey. Broken heart, hey, hey. Hey, hey. Hey. It's your turn now.
Thanks. You finished?
I'm finished for now.
Good evening. We're back on Smile Radio with On the Whistle. It's our third week back.
Third week, yeah.
Corona. So we've got some football to look forward to this week. So we're just going to be doing a bit of a preview of all the games that are starting tomorrow. I think we've got at least one game a day, haven't we, until the end of the season.
To start tomorrow, two games tomorrow.
9 games to go, and well, we'll discuss it in our preview. And we're also talking about some rugby league and what's been going on, some rumours here and there, and we'll also look back at the NRL and what's been going on over the weekend. So, without further ado, Connor, how are you doing? I'm
all right. Yeah, good. Winners are grinners. That'll be me tomorrow night when Arsenal pick up 3 points at the Etihad. It's weird. You said, how am I doing? It's, you know, I've been having this. I know you've been suffering with bad toothache, and it's been coming on and off for me. Where I've got an hole in my tooth, and just as we started the show, I get right deep tooth pain. So there we go. But beggars can't be choosers, eh? Yeah, I mean, I'm good. I'm really looking forward to.
You can't see your hair really on. I'm just looking at the live feed now. Connor's decided to dye his hair blonde. So we've done it. Well, I say we. Lily did it last night. So you're gonna put another blonde colour on, aren't you? And you'll have white hair soon.
Yeah, I just thought, why not? You know, what's worse that can happen.
So that's probably the biggest news that's happened to us all.
Yeah, exactly.
All week.
Well, I thought new starts, Premier League season starting back up tomorrow. I thought I'll rock a new Arsenal jersey that I've purchased.
Did.
Yeah, I rock a new hairstyle. And yeah, there we go.
I quite like it.
Can I just do a quick shout out and just say a happy anniversary to Ray and Tucker. 19 years and never a cross word.
19 years.
19 years.
Oh,
happy anniversary, kids. When this madness is over, we're going to go out and we'll have to have a good rinse. Anyway,
yeah, happy anniversary.
Back to you.
So what we're going to start? We're going to start with the 2 games tomorrow. Are we going to give them a bit of a preview?
Well, we might as well. I mean, we've waited. How long have we waited since football?
Well,
what was the last football game that was played?
The last football game was Halifax Town, wasn't it? In the English, it was Wakefield Trinity played on Friday the 13th of March against Bradford, and there were no fixtures in Premier League that weekend, so it'll have had to been the weekend before, so 6th of March. 6th of March, last time Premier League football was played, which is a bit bizarre, really, isn't it? Crazy that we're 9 games left. Season gets put on hold for
because Halifax played that Saturday, didn't they?
They did. Season gets put on hold for that long, and then here we are in.
And they were absolute. I remember because we were watching it, weren't we? And they were absolutely
rubbish.
Terrible.
Mid to end June, and we're about to get back underway. But no, Villa and Sheff Wednesday kick us off tomorrow, 6:15. Both big game for different reasons, and I think it's obviously been an unbelievable season for Sheff United. And Villa are stuck in 19th place, obviously fighting for their lives. As this break, well, I say break, it's been a long break. It's like starting a new season, but that could have given Sheff United a spring in the step because they've performed at 100% all year. They've punched above the weight, of course, admittedly, because You know, they've come up from the Championship and they've been hovering around that top 4, top 5 throughout the year. Do you think that rest could have given them a bit of a, just that time to recuperate and have another big bash at it?
Yeah, definitely. I think they'd started the season with a bang. Like you said, they were winning games, going at it 100%, playing really, really good football. And then I think you could argue that they did have a little bit of a dip in form, which is understandable for any team that's come up from the Championship into the Premier League. It's a difficult league to come into, and we all know that. So, yeah, I think it'll do them good having a bit of a break. And Chris Wilder seems to have been... I've sort of read a lot from him throughout lockdown, and he seems quite positive. And yeah, I think they'll do a job on Villa tomorrow night. And Villa are struggling, obviously in 19th position. You don't know. You don't know what the break's done to teams. You don't know whether it's given them that freshness that they need, or if you were in a good run before the lockdown, before the games got cancelled, can you then carry that on, or is it giving you
it's a fresh
too
start.
much of a break?
It's a new season. You can't look at the form maps. I just think that Villa, obviously, it's like they need to win. I keep calling them Chef Wednesday. Sheffield United, they don't need to win. They could lose 7 of the last 9 games and still have still be in that top half at table and have a wonderful season. So although Chris Wilder will want to get off to a winning start and keep the pressure on,
I think he'll want to win as many games as he can and finish really high, because they have had a really good season so far, and the higher that they can finish, the better credit to them, I think.
Yeah, and as I was just saying then, although we want to get off to a good start, do Villa have more at stake for that? Yes, they do, because they need the win to stay up. So I think that just gives Villa that little bit more. So I think it'll be close. I probably do think
Where is it? Is it at
Sheffield United? It's at Villa, but I think
Sheffield United are good away from home.
They are good away from home, and I think it's a completely different beast in it now that there's no crowds there as well. So I think that can be an advantage to the away teams across the fixtures.
Malik Stokes has said that the famous Chelsea Football Club at Villa Sunday. It's a win for the Chelsea. Saying he's a massive Chelsea fan.
Nah, it's a funny one. Will Villa be probably more switched on having played a game like they will tomorrow? I know teams have played friendlies, but obviously it's completely different to the real thing. Be interesting to see how that one goes, and obviously the second game after there's Man City Arsenal, which if Arsenal do a job on Man City tomorrow, I think Liverpool just have to beat Everton and the title's theirs.
Can you imagine that, Liverpool beating Everton to win the title?
Yeah,
that'd be some fairy tale for them. They've waited however long, and you thought when the season got postponed and for lockdown, you thought there was a chance that it wouldn't get restarted, and it was just a Liverpool. If it was going to happen to anyone, it was going to happen to Liverpool, wasn't it? That they wouldn't win the title because of a global
they've got
pandemic.
9 games in which to is it 5 points?
But joking aside,
depending on what Man City do tomorrow. If Man City lose to Arsenal, they need to win 1 game, don't they? Out of 9.
But joking aside, look,
and that's to say that Man City win all of their games.
Liverpool are going to win the title. There's no hiding away from that. But if they get off to a poor start, there is teams that are going to just completely react to this whole situation in a negative way. If Liverpool are one of them teams and struggle to buy a win first couple of games, and Man City are free flowing, 2 wins from 2, Liverpool have slipped up twice, you think, no way, surely not. Hang on a minute, hang on. I'm not saying for 1 minute it's going to happen, and
well, you never know.
I'd put everything on Liverpool to win the title, but isn't it funny how a couple of weeks, couple of results either way, and you think,
well, how many points were they ahead last time?
Yeah, exactly. So, interesting times. But on the games tomorrow, I'm going to go Sheffield United to pick up where they left off, sort of thing. I think they'll have a real charge towards the top four, and Villa will continue their struggle. They're one of my teams I'll tip to be relegated. And then the second game, Man City and Arsenal at Man City. Interesting one.
Yes. Where were Arsenal? I mean, I've not. To be honest, I can't remember. I've not looked at the table for so long. I can't remember
She
who's where.
She just wants me to repeat Arsenal's league position again. I did it off air just before we started.
I didn't listen to you. Sorry.
The 9th, but I won't be saying it again. But that, you know,
so Arsenal don't really have much to play for.
This is the point. They do because the gap between Arsenal win their game in hand. Right, I know it's Man City, but they win their game in hand, and they're only about 4 points off the top four. That's my point.
Okay.
You know, there is still a lot. The gap there from 4th to 9th is so small.
Yeah.
It won't surprise me if any of those teams finished in the top 4. That's so they do have something to play for. So it makes it interesting. I think they're probably more to play for than Man City, in the fact that I can't see Man City as leaving the top 4 and finishing outside of the top 4, but I can see Arsenal should other teams slip up and them go on a good run. I can see them posing a challenge for that top 4.
I'm really sorry. I can't. I'm so tired today. I can't stop yawning. You were talking to me then, and I was just like, oh gosh.
We're keeping you up.
I've got a coffee.
Sorry.
No, it's not you. I've been yawning all day.
Oh, it's not you, it's me. Not that one, is it?
Yeah.
Aye.
And that thing you said you've got to. You said you've got.
If I fall asleep, just carry on with the show without
And
me.
you said you've got a coffee. Well, that's a myth, isn't it? I'm out of people that say a coffee wakes you up and a coffee makes you. What a load of rubbish! I don't feel any better after a cup of coffee, whether I have 2 spoons of granules in or 1 spoon of granules. Don't feel any different. If I have a coffee on the morning, don't wake me up. I could drink a coffee 10 minutes before bed and still sleep perfectly well.
I agree.
Mally Stokes says he thinks that Arsenal are going to struggle tomorrow because Brentford beat them the other day.
They got beat in a friendly, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They got beat in a friendly. They might struggle.
Oh, Cooey from Ben Gummersall. Good evening, Ben. How are you? Cooey to you too.
It says Sheffield United will beat Villa, and I think Man City will beat the Gooners. I agree. I'm sorry to say that.
Yeah, well,
I think it'll be. I don't know.
I think it's going to be a strange one because everybody's
going to be on.
I just hope everybody's just going to go for it and be really entertaining because
I'm actually looking forward to watching it and sort of
I can't wait.
I mean, we've been talking about it throughout lockdown. When's it going to come back? When can we finally get back to some football? And the time has come, and I'm quite excited.
It has, yeah. It'd be interesting from an Arsenal point of view to see what team Arteta picks, because I think he had that bedding in period before lockdown where he was trying to find his best midfield combination, trying to find his best full-back combination, and his front line as well. You know, been rotating between, you know, your players Aubameyang, Lacazette, Pepe, Martinelli, Saka, Nketiah. You know, all those players had a decent amount of games, but you can only pick a couple of them per game. So it'll be interesting to see who he believes in. I think that the young lad Nketiah will play.
He's been we were talking about that, weren't we? Excuse me, got a cough now as well. And he's been preferring Nketiah over some of the senior players, so I think that'll probably be
it'd be interesting.
My money is.
Well, I know what I'd do if I'd play Pepe, Aubameyang and Martinelli. That'd be my front three. Whether you start with Aubameyang on the left or Martinelli on the left, you've got that option. And they're interchangeable as well. All three can play across the front three. That's what I'd do. You know, if I were at home playing someone, I think I'd fit Ozil in there in that 10 role. But on the road at Man City, is that wise? No. So I think I'd throw a Willock in there, a young Joe Willock for his energy and his drive. But yeah, a lot of young players, and obviously Man City, the abundance of talent that they've got. Wonder what side they pick. Who'll start up front for them, for example? Will it be Aguero or Jesus? I think Pep, as daft as it sounds, you know, you struggle to drop Aguero for a number of years, but I think he likes Jesus, doesn't he? I think he seems to want to play Jesus in those big games at times. So yeah, be interesting. But I think we'll start with a ban tomorrow. I think there'll be goals galore in both games.
Yeah, you'd like
Well,
to.
neither team can defend. Let's be
Yeah.
honest. Man City have been a shambles at back this year.
Yeah.
Better than Arsenal, admittedly, but if both teams go for it, we could be in for a 4-3, 3-3.
I
can't
hope so.
wait.
I hope so.
And you can keep your Love Island Australia and stick it where the sun doesn't shine.
Well, we I think do we outnumber them tomorrow 3-2?
Yes, because
So
we
we'll
live in a
be-
democratic state, and I've been outnumbered for too long. For way too long.
Yeah.
Football's back.
Yeah, it's back, and I really can't
We
wait.
can get a few beers in and
But,
put
you know, I
football on the
I
big
genuinely
screen.
can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm giddy.
I can't wait.
I'm
But
giddy.
looking at the defences, and I am being honest here when I say that both defences are a shambles. I think Man City have been really poor, underwhelming at times at the back, and Arsenal are just Arsenal at the back. But up front, they've got an abundant. I think they're two best attacks in league. I really
Well,
do.
you look at the lineups and
Really do. You've Aubameyang, whoever they play.
they'd
with,
get
it's
into any team in the world.
Martinelli, the boy Saka, who's been playing left back. I think they might throw him further forward. He might get a start on left. There's goals and creativity in there for both teams. Honestly, I think tomorrow night it'll be a goal fest to start with a bang. I'm going to go a high scoring draw.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 3-3.
I wouldn't disagree with that.
3 apiece.
And we were watching a bit of football today, weren't we? We had.
Oh yeah, we
It
had
was quite good actually. On BBC there was the 2004 England against Croatia.
Yeah, really weird because I said to Zoe, I says, I could tell you England team barring probably one player, and it was David James in goal, Neville, Terry, Campbell played centre back, whereas I'd have thought Ferdinand would have played. I don't even think Ferdinand was there. I think he was injured or whatever.
Yeah, it might have been banned.
Yes, banned. He was 2004. He was banned. Yeah, so Terry and Campbell, Ashley Cole at left back. They had Beckham on the right, Gerrard, Lampard, and Scholes. I think Gerrard played out on left, or Scholes played on left, 1 or 2, and then Rooney and Owen up front. Unbelievable. And then
we were discussing it because it was interesting because it was when Rooney was just breaking onto the scene. And they were discussing it in the commentary, just saying, "Oh, this is sort of been the making of him." And
he scored a couple of goals, didn't he? And they were really well taken.
Yeah.
And
and he only looked. I don't know how old he was, but he only looked young.
I don't care what anybody says. He's been classy.
He was still at Everton then. He was still at Everton. 2004. He went to Man U that year. He went to Man U that year. Did Rooney? But no, unbelievable. And him and Owen, the pace, and that second goal he scored, where they just played this 1-2. Well, I watching five-a-side football, where it was just boom, boom.
It's like they've been playing loads of old FA Cups, and they played, and they had on BBC. They had England against Scotland, where Gazza scored the best goal I've ever seen at Wembley. Made Henry look like a statue. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I've lost my trail of thought now. What were we saying? Went on.
About 5-a-side.
Oh yeah, and they're watching. It was when Liverpool played Arsenal in the FA Cup, and they had the orange strip on.
Yeah.
And Michael Owen scored 2 goals, and the pace. I mean, I just think he looked like, I'm forgetting who it. What centre half now? Anyway, whoever was trying to give chase, it looked like they were towing a caravan. It was just, his pace was unbelievable.
Yeah, unbelievable.
And a natural goal scorer as well.
And that's why Michael Owen struggled and never fulfilled that potential. I'm not saying he obviously went to play Real Madrid, great clubs he played at, and he's done some good things. But the reason he struggled towards the back end of his career and what have you is because he relied on that pace and relied on that goal scoring ability. And I remember reading his book, I think it was, or something. He said he'd suffered a load of injuries. He went to Newcastle. And he felt sorry for the Newcastle fans because he was never the same player. Because there were balls that he'd run at 100 mile an hour for sprint. Because all his game was based on short, sharp sprints. Yeah. And because he'd had a couple of calf strains, a quad where he were out for quite a while, he was playing, and he just stopped. His head just said, I can't sprint for them balls anymore. And he was still only 26 years old.
Yeah.
But he knew himself. He knew he couldn't sprint for those balls, and he was never the same player because that explosiveness and that raw pace, it just left his game.
On another note, just had a question from Alice Stokes. She said, "Do you think Villa will be doing match day programmes on Sunday? Because his brother lives near Villa, and he was thinking of going down and getting a programme for him."
Yes, I think they probably will do. I don't think he'd have to bother getting them going down. I think they'll be able to buy on an online basis. I think just judging by what a couple of other clubs have said,
Yeah.
I think they'll be doing some sort
I
of
don't-
program.
I don't think
I'd have a
they'll be
look on the club
available-
website.
You probably won't be able to get them on the day just for
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Corona reasons.
I
but
would have a look on the website
Yeah.
or check the Twitter feed. Even just try and drop them a message or something on there.
Yeah.
Because I have seen clubs that have brought out programs for this round of fixtures, and I think they're available to buy online or something.
I think you'd get a lot. I think you'd make a lot of money.
Yeah, I'm
Because
sure
it's
I don't hold me to that.
It's me, God.
First game back after a huge break, and it's obviously been a it'll
Yeah.
go down in history, won't it? And that everything stopped. So I think I think they'd be silly not to do programs.
Wakefield Trinity are bringing out their magazine again in July. So I'm sure Aston Villa will bring one out, a little programme. It's going to be tough, that, because at least Aston Villa and your clubs have got the upcoming games to speak about, and for me, bringing out a magazine in July, we haven't had a game since March, and we don't know when the next game's going to be, so we're at a bit of a, I've 48 pages to fill, and a lot of them are filled by retail offers at times. Well, retail's gone. Your hospitality, there's no match day hospitality anymore, anything like that, so I'm going to have to really...
Melly Stokes, because I'm a I never thought about online. Don't be so hard on yourself, Melly.
Ben Gummersill says, who was in goal that day? David James, wasn't it?
Yeah, David James played in goal. The subs are brought on. The free subs... Were you on?
No, we were laughing because
I'll just throw three names at me. 2004 England team. Who do you think were on better outside that starting 11? Who do you think could have come on then?
2004. Ooh, just trying to think. Well, Lampard.
He started.
he
was
started, yeah.
Um,
You probably won't. You probably won't guess because when
before.
Yeah, you'd probably think of those sort of players, but the three players that came from the bench, Ledley King, which were a really good player,
I did like
and
him.
he went to play on for England for another 6 years after that.
I did like Ledley
Came
King.
on in central midfield and played holding, bossed it when he came
Yeah.
on. Phil Neville, he came on at central midfield to tighten things up a bit, and the other person who came on up
This
front
is
for
what-
Rooney, Darius Vassell.
Vassell, blooming
And I'm not kidding you, I laughed when I heard Vassell. Watched him for next because they played full game.
But
Yeah.
he did.
Oh, some of his
some of
touches
his-
and his
yeah.
hold-up play and things, I'm thinking, oh, it actually looks all right. When all I can think of Vassell, I'm thinking,
Yeah.
half-decent Premier League striker, but more of a donkey, really.
Mm.
And he looked pretty good.
Yeah,
He looked
he
pretty good.
did.
I think Heskey were in that squad, Emil Heskey.
Again, Esky for me, he started off really well, like at Leicester, and then went to Liverpool, and he never fulfilled his potential.
But it's a weird one with Heskey because I think
he got scapegoated a lot when he played for England,
he
didn't he?
did. Even to the day he retired, right? Even to the day he left the Premier League, he was playing at Villa, and he'd been around the Premier League, and they were a bottom Premier League club, and he were he wasn't playing every week, but he was still, he were around the bottom of the table. And Capello took World Cup in 2010, quite old, and he played him from start with Rooney. A lot of coaches thought that Heskey brought the best out of other players, and Rooney for
But
his.
he was strong. His hold-up play was really,
good
really
in
good.
air, good in air.
It's like Andy Carroll as well. I mean, he's just. I always thought he was a bit of an horse, but he's got a pretty good touch. He's strong, isn't he? And but he's another one who's been dogged with injuries.
Yeah, I've never known anybody like him in my life.
It's like Anderton. You won't remember Anderton.
Darren Anderton, midfielder,
Yeah.
Norwich.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
unbelievable.
he were in that game against England, against Scotland, and he played really well. But his nickname was Sick Note because he were always injured.
Yeah, absolute.
He was worse than Jamie Redknapp.
Yeah, class player. But yeah, Carroll. The thing is with Carroll, he'll always hover around Premier League and Championship because he's such a big bloke, and somebody will always take that gamble.
He does know where net is, to be
he
fair.
does. If I can get him fit, we've got a great player there. Yeah, you have. But who has been able to get him fit? Nobody. And it's a shame, really, isn't it? It is a shame.
Well, and the other thing we're talking about, which was a phenomenal achievement, I don't care at any level, Gary Lineker to never ever been booked in his professional career. Not
Mhm.
one yellow card. He's not like, if you look at Alan Shearer, I mean,
However many he had.
he'd mix it, and a lot of centre halves used to hate playing against
tell you
Shearer.
who were a striker who always seemed to be getting booked and sent off and fouling. Him who played at Bolton, Kevin Davis.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Oh, he was see you every week. He was card. He'd just come back and take people out. Him, Davis.
But
Yeah.
if you imagine how many games Gary Lineker's played at club level and at international level,
to never get
get
booked.
even a card, that is a ridiculous.
He was another one. He just knew where
Knew
goal
where
was.
the goal was.
Yeah.
I mean, in that penalty area,
Yeah.
there were nobody better than him. I mean, he got golden boot 1 year for England,
Mm.
even though we never won World Cup. But he got golden boot. But he got 6 goals at that tournament. But great player. I tell you who never fulfilled his potential. Letitia. He should.
He were too laid back, wasn't he?
But have you seen some of his
Class.
goals? He
But
scored?
the thing is,
oh my God.
people have always said, well, Letitia, it frustrated him because he was laid back and he could have done so much more. But that's what made him the player he was. They had the silkiness, and that's what made him like that, because he was laid back and did things that other players couldn't.
He never left Southampton though, did he?
No, I know he did. But you've seen good players that have been good for a smaller club and moved to another club and
Alan
never
Shearer
been
started
never
at
been the
Southampton
same.
though,
Yeah,
did he?
yeah.
And he went on. He should have gone to Man U though, instead of Newcastle. Because I think they were an option for him to go to Man U.
It's a funny one, because who's to say that he'd have done what he did? The Man U, he could have played a season, been a flop, and never played again.
Yeah.
There's players that have done that. There is.
Ben Gummersel.
Yeah,
People couldn't get close to Lineker because of his ears.
he does have abnormally large ears.
Yeah, he does. Right, we're going to have a song then.
Yes.
I've got a couple of belters. I thought with Premier League starting, we'll get a bit of a because they're going back to Premier League next year, get a bit of a Leeds United song going. Quite famous for the words, Leeds are falling apart again. But we're going to have original, so here goes.
Joy Division. You listen to Connor and Zoe on the Whistle live on Smile Radio.
Routine lights follow, ambition College Grove Nursery in Wakefield has been providing the highest standard of childcare for over 22 years. Situated on Eastmoor Road, we are close to the M1 and M62 motorway network and also convenient for Wakefield city centre, schools and major places of employment. For more details, check out our website at www.collegegrovenursery.co.uk or give us a call on 01924 200 120 to arrange a visit. College Grove, a special nursery which takes a hand, opens a mind and touches a heart.
We're back. What a belter. Leeds are falling apart again. No, they're not, because they're going to the Premier League. So I think it's probably...
I thought you were going to, when you said a Leeds United song, I thought you were going to play Marching On Together, and I was
No,
about to dump you on the
I
spot.
wouldn't have done that, although that can come on next week after Leeds have won on Saturday. Sunday. That's on Sky as well, so Super Sunday sorted here. So the Premier League table, I think it's appropriate to have a bit of a recap, considering I bet everyone's forgotten. Liverpool, of course, on top with 82 points. Man City in second on 57.
That gap is just ridiculous.
It's Leicester on 53, Chelsea on 48, and then outside the top four, Man United in 5th on 45, Wolves in 6th on 43, Sheffield United just behind them on 43 but have a game in hand, Tottenham in 8th on 41, Arsenal in 9th on 40 with a game in hand, and then you've got Burnley and Crystal Palace on 39 in 10th and 11th, Everton, Newcastle, Southampton in 13th, 14th and 15th, West Ham and Watford just outside the relegation zone on goal difference. They both on 27 points. And then Bournemouth also on 27 points in the drop zone, along with Villa on 25 and Norwich on 21. I think, judging by that league table, you'd have to say it's going to be a tough task for Norwich at the foot of the table, Zoe.
Yes, I agree. Tell me the bottom three again. 27.
So Bournemouth are on 27.
Yeah.
Villa are on 25. Norwich are on 21.
Yeah, it seems like
I want Bournemouth to stay up.
your Villa and your Bournemouth could potentially stay up, but yeah, that just seems too much of a gap to fill. You'd probably, if as a Norwich, you'd have to win pretty much the rest of your 9 games to get out of it, because obviously your other teams ahead of you will be winning games, and will be winning at least a couple of games, or a couple of the last 9 games. So yeah, if you're Norwich, it's not looking too hopeful, I wouldn't say.
I fear for West Ham.
Yeah.
I fear for West Ham. Yeah, I think Norwich, they're going to go down. Villa, I think, could get out of it. I think they've got enough in there to get out of it. Bournemouth, I fear for, and West Ham are the other one. I just really genuinely feel that other teams have got a bit of grit about them, and the cojones, if you like, to get themselves out of there. I fear that West Ham haven't. They've been a club now that's been underperforming for a number of years. They have a lot of ageing players, and players that are probably don't suit the predicament they're in. So I really do fear for them. Really do.
Yeah, I'd like just picking up on something that you said. They have underperformed, haven't they, for a number of years now. There was a time when West Ham were sort of middle to top table. But
yeah, and that's not even that long since,
exactly.
2013, 14.
And now it's you look at them and you think you don't see where their firepower comes from, where they're going to score goals from, and they're not a team that you think going into a game has a real chance of winning.
Yeah, I like the keeper. I like Fabianski. I think he's one of the better keepers in the league. But I worry about the team when it comes to that. I'm just going to run some names to you. Zabaleta, good defender 10 years ago. Way past it now for me. Cresswell's a good defender. Balbuena, Ogbonna, they're all very inconsistent players. Masuaku, in midfield they have some quality. Your Felipe Anderson, Lanzini, and Snodgrass, who's come to life under Moyes again. Is a good player. But are these players here that I'm reeling off for you? Felipe Anderson, Lanzini, are they the type of players you want in a relegation battle? Yarmolenko, Jared Bowen. He's never been in that position before. He's been a great player at Championship level, but will he get the goals required to get them out of trouble. It's hard to say. So that's where I really do fear for West Ham, and I look at Villa, and whilst they're not blessed with an abundance of talent, I just feel they've a little bit more there, bit more about them. Tyrone Mings is a commanding bit of a leader in the way he plays at the back. There's players in there that I think, I'm a big fan of Douglas Luiz, and I just think they'll have a little bit more. I think they could struggle for goals as well, but I just think they'll probably be a bit better over the course of the remaining 9 games.
Goal difference, like you said, there's a couple of teams on the same point with better or worse goal difference. But if you're winning, you just need to win 1-0, don't you? And you can win all the rest of your games 1-0 and you'll be fine. So goals aren't necessarily that important if you are winning all your games and the teams around you aren't.
Yeah, Watford, it's a funny one for them. Obviously, I think under Nigel Pearson they've been
like
really
Watford.
good.
I think
really good.
I do think that they will have enough in the tank to get out of it.
The Watford have been funny this year. They've been underperformed all year. At the bottom of the table for quite a while, and then they beat some. They beat Arsenal at home. They beat Liverpool at home. I think they went and beat Spurs at home as well. They've got some real big performances in them, and some big game players. I think Troy Deeney perhaps needs to start concentrating on playing football rather than spouting his mouth off every 5 minutes in the media. I do. That's my honest opinion. I think, he likes to talk the talk, does Deeney. But he needs to do the business for Watford. He does. He needs to do the business for Watford.
We've got a comment from Ben Gummersull. He says, it will be interesting to see how form restarts after the break. Will teams be able to continue the momentum from before lockdown, or will there be a change in form? We discussed this earlier on. In reality, it's like starting a whole new season, isn't it? They've had about 3 months off. So I think form from before lockdown just goes complete. I know it's a whole cliche, but I think it goes completely out of the window. Because after a 3-month break, you're not going to be able to go straight back into that form that you were enjoying before lockdown. I think it's just a fresh start for each and every team, and they'll be brand new. It's a brand new season, so it's a fresh start for everyone.
But I feel that Watford were on a bit of a back pitch straight away. The side Welbeck, and I genuinely thought that if he'd have stayed fit, he could have been great for Watford.
He's another one though, isn't he? It could have
been really
throughout
good.
His career, his injuries have just stopped him from taking that next step. I've always rated him, and I've always thought he's a brilliant player, but he's another one where injuries have just plagued him throughout. He's never had a consistent enough time at any one club to be able to prove how good of a player he is.
But you've got here, and this is the quality they've got. If they'd have had a front three to start the season, a Welbeck, De La Feu, Andre Gray, and then you've got Troy Deeney as a backup. You've got Isaac Success as a backup. Yeah, Dooleflu, yeah. And then in midfield, you've got.
Is he still injured? Because he had that nasty leg break before lockdown.
I don't know, but if you'd have had them three as your front three, you've got good midfielders in there with Decore, Capoue, who's a great holding midfielder, I think, at Watford. Cleverly, who will work hard for you. Chalobah, will you? There've enough in there, I think. So. I do feel sorry for him in the fact that they've probably not had the best of luck with injuries this year. But I think similar to I say similar to other teams. I think probably Watford have got the.
I do hope they do. I do like Watford. And Ben again says, will the break be good for teams like Norwich? A big match on Friday at home to Southampton to restart.
Yeah, possibly, because you look at the way Norwich started the season when they first came into the Premier League, and they won something like 3 of the first 4. And you go into a rut and a slur, and you lose 8 of your, to 8 or 10 games, I think it was. They're on a dreadful run. You want something to change. You want something different, and nobody would have thought obviously you're going to have a 3-month break in the season, but something has changed as far as Norwich are concerned.
Yeah,
they've had a break. Now can they come back and and do what they did sort of at the start of the season. Who knows? But I think, they're probably...
Well, why not? I mean, like you said,
It could do in the world of good, it could.
Exactly, because you, as a team, get into a rut and you go on this losing streak and you're losing week in, week out. You don't have that confidence and you lose any sort of confidence that you're going to start winning and that you can pick up that form again. So I think a break for teams like Norwich will be just as good, if not better, because they'll have put that rut and that losing streak to one side and just thought, do you know what, fresh start, we've got 9 games to save our Premier League status, and they'll just be going all out and doing as much as they can to win.
They will. We're approaching the last 19 minutes or so. So I think if we have a second song, and then we'll touch upon the rugby league.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Certainly does. So don't forget, if you've got any comments you want to, we're on Facebook Live, Smile Radio Yorkshire, Instagram and Twitter at Smile Radio 3, or you can drop me an email, richard@smileradio.co. So get any questions or any comments you want to put in, get in touch with us, you know what to do. So, Connor, you've picked the songs this week. I've picked
another bit of a football song, really. It's Crystal Palace's anthem. That they played when they win the games at the start of the games. It's Glad All Over by the Dave Clark 5.
So you listen
An
to
absolute belter.
On the Whistle with Connor and Zoe live on Smile Radio.
You say that you love me, all of the time, You say that you need me, you'll always be mine, I'm feeling glad all over, yes I'm glad all over, baby I'm glad all over, so glad you're mine. I'll make you happy, you'll never be blue, you'll have no sorrow, 'cause I'll always be true, and I'm feeling glad all over, yes I'm glad all over, baby I'm glad all over, so glad you're mine. Other girls may try to take me away, but you know it's by your side I will stay, I'll stay. Our love will last now, till the end of time, because this love now is only yours and mine, and I'm feeling glad all over, yes I'm glad all over, baby I'm glad all over, so glad you're mine. Other girls may try to take me away, but you know if by your side I will stay, I'll stay. Our love will last now, till the end of time, because this love now is only yours and mine, and I'm feeling glad all over, yes I'm glad all over, baby I'm glad all over, so glad you're I'm so glad you're mine now. Whoa, 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 whoa.
The Dave Clark 5. It's a belter, that. It never gets old for me. I love it. I've not heard from it for a while, so I thought we'll just recap.
Not a bad couple of songs.
Thank you very much. I don't do bad,
I
do I?
enjoyed the football theme to say that we're back.
Yeah. So we've got 15 minutes left. Rugby league, I think. We'll have a chat about that. We'll start with the Luke Thompson situation. Of course, he's now at the Bulldogs. He's in Canterbury. He's landed there in Australia. It's an interesting one how this one's played out, because he's obviously refused a pay cut like the rest of the Saints players. But Luke Thompson, never on this planet would he have refused a pay cut had he not had a contract or knew he could have gone to the NRL with immediate effect.
Yeah, it's funny. I was just looking on Twitter while we had that song break, and an article's come up. Sky Sports. He says the opportunity was there to go there, give Saints my salary for the rest of the season, and then get a fee off Canterbury. I thought, well, why not? He believes his decision to leave Saints for Canterbury with 6 months remaining on his contract was best for him and the club. Obviously, he'd already agreed a deal for 2020, but he's now obviously gone early. What are your thoughts?
What are my thoughts? See, it's a difficult one because without knowing the club stance on it, it's all right. Luke Thompson coming out and saying, you know, I thought I'd let give Saints a fee and let him have my salary, but.
Yes, shall I read you what he said here? So he says, they were asking us to take salary cuts and I was saying, I can go there so I don't really want to take a cut and I can help you that way. They were saying, we want to keep you but we can't afford to pay your full salary and cut everyone else, which is totally understandable. If I'd have been in the same situation as everybody else, I'd have been more than happy to take the pay cuts, but my situation was a little bit different and that's the reason they had to release me in the end, because obviously they couldn't pay me full and not everybody else, which I wouldn't expect them to.
Why should he get paid full?
No, exactly, he shouldn't. So
Does he give a reason why he refused the pay cut?
He says they were asking us to take salary cuts and I was saying I can go there so I don't really want to take a cut and I can help you that way. So he's basically saying instead of taking a pay cut, he'd rather... Yeah,
I'm not buying it because...
He's basically saying he doesn't want to take a pay cut, so instead of taking a pay cut, he'll do his bit to help the club by leaving early.
Yeah, rubbish. If you were doing a bit to help the club, you'd honour your contract and take the pay cut.
Yeah.
It all boils down to what are the club's opinions on this? Do they see it as, oh mind you, we might as well let him go now, or did they want him to stay and honour his contract? Did they want him to have play the end of the season and go to and move on to pastures new in a better light? If they did, then I think it's a bit rubbish what Luke Thompson's done, in fairness. Can I blame him? No, I can't blame him. But I'm not sure I quite believe I'm doing the club a favour. I don't think I quite believe that because, you know, St Helens, look, it's a tough time for everybody, but I think there's clubs that are probably need to take cuts more than St Helens. And they'll probably replace him, won't they?
Yeah, it looks like they...
Yeah, look, I don't think he's doing Saints a massive favour because they'll probably spend what they're paying Thompson on another player.
Well, they've got another Thompson, haven't they? Joel Thompson's coming out. Or
has
that been properly announced?
No,
yet?
not officially, but I don't think. But you know, he will be a Saints player next year. A good player, player. It's been a tough task to get him over to the NRL. A couple of clubs came close last year.
I think he's sort of been he's attracted interest from quite a few Super League clubs, and last year were Leeds sort of after him for last year?
I'm sure that Wakefield wanted to sign him and Hull FC as well. Another one that they wanted to sign him. Probably the time wasn't right, but he's now will be at St Helens next year. So that's he's a tough player, a tough back rower, and that's an area where I think Saints needed to.
Yeah.
Because I look at Saints' pack and now I think they've lost Thompson, a massive hole in there. You've got Walmsley, who's a great prop. Roby, who's a hooker, who's ageing, who's probably going to only have a year left.
Yeah.
It's as an 80-minute hooker. You've got Thompson, who's gone. So then you're relying on players like Matty Lees, Jack Ashworth. You know, they're nowhere near the player that Walmsley and Thompson are. They're good players to have as squad players and interchanging with them when you've got them two playing because they play big minutes, but. I just worry, and with the back rows as well, Taylor and Peru, they're both aging. They're both, Taylor especially is the wrong side of 30, and Peru's in his 30s as well. So I think they needed to strengthen that back row there and the pack in general. And that'll be a challenge for Saints replacing Thompson. Obviously, the other Thompson, Joel Thompson, will play back row. The challenge there to replace him with a top front rower.
Who do you bring? Because obviously, the past couple of years he has sort of burst onto the scene, and you forget that he is still young. He's only 23, 24, I think. So he's going over to the NRL in sort of the peak of his career, and you can't really blame him for going over there, wanting to better his career, I suppose. So the challenge now for Saints is to get someone to fill some very big boots.
Yeah, come on, Ben, spill the beans. You said Ben Curry's on radar of Leeds and one other Super League club. Who's the other Super League club? Ben Curry, he's got a bit of a... It's a funny situation with Ben Curry. He's another one who struggled with injuries but always been decent when he's played and had a run. But Warrington might feel that, that they're signing some big players, and Inglis, one of them, they might feel that you like Curry, etc. Probably players that they might have to offload to keep an even keel. So come on, Ben, we've got a couple of minutes, mate. So let me know who that other club is in there who's interested in Ben Curry. You don't know who, right? Okay. Would he improve Leeds? Probably would. Ben Curry, yeah, probably the type of player that'd suit a Leeds team. They're playing off the cuff style, and Curry's a dynamic runner. Always impressed me, did Curry, when he played in centre for England, believe it or not. When he played in there, I'm not saying he's a centre, but he always did a better job than a John Bateman in there. So yeah, a decent player, still plenty to offer if he can stay fit, Bateman. Curry.
Yeah, another story as well I saw on Twitter, and I think it's been sort of doing the rounds for a while. Benji Marshall has been linked with a move to Super League. It doesn't say what club, but it says that it's something that both he and his agent are interested in. What would your thoughts be on Benji Marshall coming over to Super League?
I'm not sure. I don't know. How old is he now?
You see, this is the thing for me. I think he is early 30s, so...
I think he might even be mid.
I think he might be 30, 35, 36. Maybe.
I'll be honest. Obviously, Marshall will drop from the team last week. I haven't seen him play for a while, so I can't really judge. But if he is still playing NRL week in, week out...
35.
Yeah, if he's still playing NRL week out, he's obviously clearly good enough. The question is, will he come over here at 35 and take the Super League seriously and be the player that you'd associate Benji Marshall with? I'm not sure. Which club do I see him going to? I think there's only a couple potentially. I'm looking at Hull FC, who Albert Kelly will leave at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Jake Connor, Radford wanted him to be 6. Obviously, Radford's moving on. I can't see many coaches fancying Jake Connor as a 6. So I think
that's another one as well. Hull haven't appointed a new head coach, have they?
No, they haven't. They haven't. But I think Benji Marshall probably. If I'm looking at a club, I'm looking at Hull. Where else could you see him going? Catalans, the partner Maloney?
Potentially, yeah. It's a difficult one because
Toronto?
Yeah, I mean, what clubs have the gap in their team to bring someone in like that, and B, I mean, I'm sure it won't cost. It won't be cheap to bring across. But then for me, the worry is that is he going to be just like, well, Greg Inglis hasn't played yet, but for me, it's a massive signing for Warrington to bring him over, but is he too old in his career now to make a proper impact on the Super League? And would Benji Marshall have that effect if he did come over?
He could do. I think you look at the halves that London signed a while ago. They've got Craig Gower in who are 36, 37. They've got Soward in who are old. They both did great jobs. There's players that have come in knowing full well they're only going to be there for a year, and they've done a great job. They've knuckled down and been a breath of fresh air. Benji Marshall could do that. Could he end up at Wigan? Could Wigan take a punt on him? Jackson Hastings potentially moving on. I think he probably will move to the NRL, Hastings. So you've got a void there. Who's been playing halfway, Hastings? Is it Luluai? See, they're going to need to sign some new halfbacks. Tommy Luluai I've always thought he were a hooker, in fairness, Luluai. And he's probably gone on a bit longer than I thought he would as a halfback for Wigan. So I think they need some new halfbacks. Marshall could perhaps be one of them for a year.
You're right. I mean, yeah, he could. There's a host of clubs that he could potentially go to, and I think it would be a great signing. Obviously, he's a big name over in the NRL, and like Greg Inglis coming over to the Super League, whether he's still good enough we'll wait to see. But I think he'd have the same impact as as a Greg Inglis signing would Benji Marshall, because he has been a great player for such a number of years. So I think it'd be an asset to bring him over. But whether he's still at the pinnacle of his career, I don't know.
Yeah, be interesting. But I'm just thinking down the teams now. Cass, Truman and Richardson, they're not going to sign another half.
They don't need another one.
Your Wakefields and Salfords, etc., aren't going to be able to afford him.
Yeah.
Toronto, potentially. Yeah, they're a possibility, I think, to sign him. Hull FC and Wigan, I think they're probably the only 3 clubs.
Yeah, I would probably agree with you on that one.
Can't see any other club. Huddersfield to partner Caesar, maybe. Can Huddersfield afford him?
Can Huddersfield
Probably
afford?
not, no. Yeah, I think it's all right saying Marshall's been offered to Super League clubs, but somebody's got to find a good enough deal and the right deal to bring him in, and it'll be very limited as to who. There we go. Don't know if Vindaloo is that, or is that a Ben Curry joke? Nice one, Ben. Well done. Yeah, so but the NRL, my team so far, Sydney Roosters, have been absolutely on fire. Some of the rugby they play, and Trent Robinson, of course, who coached in Super League. It's
just ridiculous. It's sometimes just absolutely freakish to watch. I mean, I was watching James Tedesco on. It was Monday night now, wasn't it? Because they played the Bulldogs. They were meant to play on Sunday, but they had a corona scare. His stats at the end of the game was something ridiculous. Yeah, they are.
Tedesco's a class player, but I think that the work's done inside a lot of the time, because I saw Brett Morris play at fullback the week before, and he was outstanding. He was probably the best player on the park then. I think the fullback role, well, although Tedesco is unbelievable, I'm taking nothing away from him at all. I just think that they play so well. Sometimes there's a lot of space for a fullback to do what they do. And there's no. But if you're playing fullback, you want to play fullback for Sydney Roosters, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Tedesco, absolutely unbelievable performance, and the halfback as well. Is it Flanagan?
Kyle Flanagan. Yeah.
Kyle Flanagan, and they've just got runners
and Luke Carey there, but they seem to be working together.
Yeah, and the forwards, Tokiaho, who starts to, there's some real good props in there, and some.
They're going to take. I mean, they're playing up against Parramatta on. At the weekend, I'm not sure what game
Parramatta
it is.
have been going well, haven't they?
And Parramatta are unbeaten as well, so that'll be sort of the first real test, I think.
Yeah,
and it'll be a cracker of a game.
Yeah, it'll definitely be that'll be the game I watch this weekend. I think Sydney and Parramatta.
If it's not on at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Well, that is true. Yeah. There we go. Another hour flown by. We're back next week. We can assess. We've got tomorrow's games to assess. About. We've got the next full weekend, the Championship as well.
And we'll have some live games on as well.
And we're going to be about to get in normal. And before you know it, when rugby's back, fingers crossed. We'll be normality. Everything to talk about.
We'll see you next week.
We will.
Right, thanks everybody for tuning in, and don't forget, if you've missed this show or any other show, you can go to our website www.smileradio.co/on-demand, or download the podcast from iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, and all the major podcasting sites. All I have to say is, have a day. Cheers.
See you next week.
Cheers. I'll see you next week.
Stay safe,
the Arsenal.
Up the Arsenal. Stay safe, guys. See you soon.
Away from a runaround.